Hello, everyone. Ooh, testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? I think you can. Happy June, everyone. June 4th, 11/11. Thank you for joining us for Dream Set. Today's a really special dream set for us because, it's Pride Month, and Pride is really special for me because it allowed me to it provides space for me throughout my life to really explore who I am, to feel safe expressing who I am. Or I remember going to pride festivals in San Francisco when I lived in Reno, or even helping to start the Pride Parade in Reno with my friends like Jeremy and Brian and our center over there. And yeah, Pride's awesome. I love it. And I'm so glad that we have this event today. We have amazing people joining us. So to talk a little bit about what we're going to do today, we're going to start off with a panel. We have a panel with Deniver from Sushi Bites, who is also if you know me and you know Denver, we're besties. So and so I'm super excited to have him on this panel. We have Tyler with Spaces also joining us, and then we have Moonfly joining us as well. So it's going to be super great. And in addition, or I guess after that, we're going to have a super amazing healing conversation with myself and a good friend, Draco, who is also a shamanic practitioner. That session is going to be called Regenesis, Dancing with the Divine Within. That's what we're calling that session. And then after that, we have a set by Boshi. He came to my house a couple of weeks ago and recorded a set for this stream. So yeah, we have a great day planned. Yeah, thank you all for joining us. Yeah, I wanted to also share with y'all. One second. I want to share the website for Dream Space today. Let me get this up on screen. Whoa, that's for Dream Space. We're doing Dream Set today. So Dream Set, that's today, started at 11:11, because we love making wishes at 11:11. Then we have all our guests for today, everyone who contributed. We've got Boshi, Moonfly, Deniver, Draco, with Spaces, Boca Vision, and Leaf Jerky. And we have the Dream Shop. The Dream Shop should be open. Oh, no. No, I think we're good. 1 second. But yeah, so today I forgot to put the minting address on here. So let me actually grab that real quick. But while I grab that, I want to show you the artwork that people made to support today. So we have Denny Ver. He created this piece called Lantern Spirits. I love it. If you go to sushibite.io, it feels like you're immersed in this place that there's just lanterns everywhere. And these are little futuristic lanterns. They have holograms to show their little advertisements. So, and then his intention was to illuminate the contributions and talents of queer artists through collaboration and celebration. Yeah, I really love this piece. Let's zoom in and take a look at it. Next, we have this piece from Dick. He is part of Boca Vision, and this piece is called Pieces of Me. And his intention was I went into the pieces thinking of the times I felt decoupled from my true self, from the outside looking in. Public me and private me could have been two completely different people. This piece, like the purples and the teals, like really pop out at me, and I love it. Next, we have this piece by Leaf Jerky. And shout out to Leaf Jerky. He actually made this piece for Dream Set back in February, but we ended up not opening the Dream Shop for that Dream Set. So we're able to bring it up this month. And I think it's such a cute piece. And their intention was life will always hit harder. It's important to know yourself, how to take care of yourself, how to fix yourself, and how to move forward. Never give up on yourself. And it's called Perseverance. I just love this little animation. Then we have a piece by Mark O, who is also a member of Boca Vision. And I love the colors of this piece. I like Sacred Hearts are, you can find them throughout my house, like in different forms with mermaids or gifts that were given to me. So I really love this piece. It's called What is Love? And this piece is a representation of how freeing it can be to let go of all the negative stigma around the right to express your love however you want to, whomever you want, no matter what. It's a beautiful intention. And then the last piece I have to show you guys from the Dream Shop is by Tabab, who is also a member of Book of Vision. And this piece is so ethereal to me, and so beautiful. Their intention for this piece, a lot of paranoia I feel when I'm having a bad trip is about my life choices and my partners. The struggle between having an open sexuality or just closing it off because it isn't acceptable. I was trying to capture like the weird, lifeless, floaty feeling you get when you disassociate from a quote unquote bad trip. And then, yeah, it's called endless disassociation. Yeah. So these pieces, if the Dream Shop, you know, I'm going to check on this Dream Shop. We might not be ready to go right away, but the Dream Shop will be open until the end of the month. Everything will be 22 ADA and a random mint. Once I get the address for it, I'll update it here, and then we'll be tweeting it out the rest of the month and sharing it with everyone. So yeah, those are the pieces in the Dream Shop. Next, yeah, so we're gonna, before we hop into the next panel, I would like to just have a moment for us to set intention. I'm going to light a copal incense for us that I got in LA with my beautiful friend Alejandrina. She took me to her favorite little shops for incense and crystals and stuff a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to light it. And I typically use matches to light incense or coals or when I'm doing energetic work, because my ancestors believed, and I believe, that like each matchstick, each piece of wood has its own spirit that we can ask to help us set our intentions. So if you would like to get in a comfortable position, whether that's sitting or lying down, and then just take a few deep breaths, like inhaling anything that you want to invite in, any good energy that you would like to invite in. And exhaling anything that no longer serves you. So I'm going to let you go at your own pace, and we'll. First, I would like us to acknowledge the first peoples of the lands that we currently occupy here in Las Vegas. I would like to recognize the Southern Paiute and Wallapai tribes. If you are not sure of the names of the first people of the lands that you're currently on, please do your research to look into that. It's important for us to recognize, honor, and respect the peoples that homes that we live on, the land that we live on. So, yeah. And I know Ginny Lau, I know you're on watching. So if you have that link available, feel free to pop it in the chat so people can look it up. Now I'd like us to come to our center, our heart center. Take a few breaths. And I'd like us to focus on gratitude. No matter where we are and what space we're in, there's always something to be grateful for. And so I would like to take this moment for us to really breathe into that and feel that gratitude in our heart center. And now's a good time to go ahead and invite in any energies that help you feel supported, whether those are any like feelings, whether it's like an ancestor or a spirit guide, whether it's, I don't know, anything that you need today or this month to feel safe, to feel protected, to feel supported. Invite that energy in. And if it's a spirit guide or an ancestor, take a moment to say hello and see what messages they have for you. And same with the energies, like those energies have messages too. Feel free to say hi to them. And then I would like to set the intention for this stream set. It really is a space for us to celebrate ourselves, our journeys, our healing journeys, our art, to celebrate who we are fully and to feel safe expressing that in this space. And hopefully that safety we get to carry that with us into other spaces as well. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today. And thank you for celebrating Pride with us. Yes, this month, and it's going to be fabulous, but any chance you get to celebrate who you are throughout the year, to express yourself fully, like that's what I want to celebrate this month and always. So I love you all. And with that, we will get started with our first panel. I'm going to bring them up here real quick. 1 second. First, we have Denver. What's up, Denny? Oh, you might be on mute. I can't hear you. Check your audio. Next, we have Tyler with Spaces. Hello.
How's it going?
Hello.
Happy Dream Space.
Oh, maybe it was just me that couldn't hear you, Denver. Say hi again.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Happy Dream Space and happy Pride. What's up, Tyler?
What's up, Denver?
What's up?
Gotta get more rockets.
And then we have Moonfly.
Yo.
Oh, how's it? I can't hear you, Moonfly. Ooh. Are you playing video games, Tyler?
What's happening?
I don't know.
No way.
I hear some sounds in the background. Is that me?
It looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, it was my Twitch. It was my Twitch. Sorry about that. All right. Let's do a quick sound check now that those sounds are gone.
Check mic 1 2.
Check.
Check.
I just want to say I have not seen you I haven't seen you in person yet, but I haven't put a face to you, Moonfly. So it is very lovely finally seeing what you look like.
Yeah.
I can't hear you just yet.
Oh, no.
Still trying.
Down at the bottom of the screen, it has a little mic that says mute under it. If you click on that arrow, should let you adjust your volume and all of that, and select your input. Oh no!
I really like the cause there. Denver, I got.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks. This was my Halloween costume from like the other year that I made out of styrofoam, and he's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, me too.
Moonfly, you can go ahead and try to exit out of the stream, and then you could click on the link and rejoin. That might work. When in doubt, restart.
Yeah,
Well,
try blowing on the cartridge and jiggling it a little.
Well, while we wait for a Moonfly to hop in here, Denver and Tyler, would y'all like to introduce yourselves and kind of share why you're here today, or why you felt like joining us?
Did you want to go first, Tyler?
I'm bad at answering questions. Let's see.
I'm happy to get this.
Yeah, you can start.
I got you. So I don't know. I mean, any of you who already might know Nicholas. Nicholas is the bestie. I've known him for years, and we met in college. And I will always support him in anything he wants to do, because I know he'll support me just the same. And this stream is special to me because I am part of this community that we celebrate in June, which is Pride and the LGBTQ plus community. And so a little bit about myself. I like to consider myself an artist and designer, and I've joined the Sushi Bites team with the rest of my friends from college who I met when I was out, but you know what? I came out in high school and lived the experiences that one might have, and struggled with expression and art and drawing and design was always a big part of my life, and it helped me really cope with the ways that life would bring me down, because this world isn't really it's better now than it was, but there's still a long way to go. When it comes to issues and legislation and all the things that revolve around why we celebrate this month. And yeah, so that's what makes it special, and that's what makes it so important to me, on top of the fact that it's I get to spend some time with really cool people and friends and talk. So thank you for having this and streaming this and having me on the panel too.
Yeah, thanks for joining. I really appreciate you. You always show up for me. I appreciate it. How's it going, Tyler?
Doing good. So I think I'm here. I mean, similar to I met Nick recently, Nicholas. And his your energy is just amazing. I love everything you were doing, everything you do. I think the reason why I'm here is like Denver said, I'd do anything you're doing, Nick. I'd love to go along with it. But also I really enjoyed the past dream spaces. And I don't think like mindfulness is important in like mental health and everything, and I don't think it's something I really put as much thought into. So like sitting through these spaces, it like gives me more. It like opens my eyes up to that more. I think, which is important. Um,
Yeah.
I'm
No, that's
honestly,
perfect.
I think it's like a cool group of people. I'm also a part of the LGBT community, and yeah, I mean, I like having conversations with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here today, Tyler. Hey, Moonfly, were we able to get your audio?
Can you hear me now?
Ooh, yes. Let me turn you up though. 1 second. How about that?
Yay, can you hear me now?
Yay, we can
There's
hear
that voice that
you.
I remember.
Yay. Yeah, we were just Denver and Tyler just kind of introduced themselves a little bit and like said why they decided to join this panel today. So if you'd like to share, it's your turn now.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool. Well, I'm an artist. I don't know if you can see behind me. There's a couple of my work behind me, and also I own a head shop. So there's a head shop behind me too, which we have a Twitter page called Lions Glass Gallery. Um, I do Trippy Ada, which is Trippy Lips. I don't know if you guys seen them. You probably have. I know you guys have, but anyone in the chat that haven't should go check this out. We really try to focus on psychedelic awareness and just psychedelic therapy for mental therapy and mental health. We host a space every Sunday called Psychedelic Sundays that we kind of share people's stories and it's not recorded, so that way people feel comfortable sharing things they wouldn't normally share, and that way we can have an open space. But as for myself joining this dream space, I love you guys. Tyler, you're freaking awesome. We both love K-Fez and K-Fez Studio and Jelly Bellies, which I'm a huge fan of too, and Sushi Bites, huge fan. But really, part of the LGBTQ community. I'm bisexual. My uncle actually was gay growing up. He was one of my closest family members, and he passed away from AIDS during the AIDS pandemic in the 80s and 90s. So it's really important for me to kind of stand up for our community when needed, and not even just be there as a listening ear if anyone has any kind of problems like that. But yeah, just hi from Colorado.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing about your uncle because that's such a big part of our history, and like it's something that the world and like the US ignored for so long, and so many people suffered because of it. And yeah, thank you for sharing. I I don't know if you guys could see the chat, but Jenny says that she is so glad to have Tyler as her gay crypto mayor. Yeah, I want to thank all of you for joining me today. My inspiration for this panel was really to have space for us to share our LGBT experience and how that influences our art or our expression. Yeah, so Denver, how does being a gay man who lives in San Diego and who's Filipino, how does that show up in your art, or how does your art help you like process your experience?
So yeah, I was reflecting on this a bit this morning, just as preparation, and I like to think of myself as an artist, like especially when I was younger and coming to terms with who I am and my sexuality. It was a form of escapism, and I would draw. I have lots of sketchbooks of me just drawing anime, and growing up, when I was coming to terms with who I was, it was reflected in a lot of my personal sketchbooks. I wouldn't necessarily say that the art that I chose to put into gallery or in college with the assignments that I would you know make didn't necessarily reflect who I was um, more deeply in that sense when it comes to identity. Um, it was more, I would say, playful. And I think, me and my optimism, I'm always, um, kind of portraying that aspect of who I am all the time, and especially in my art too. And in the way I design, because I'm also a graphic designer and it kind of shows through. And, but now that I think and reflect on it, it's just as much a part of my identity as a gay man. When I have to be optimistic and not force myself, but realize that things aren't always going to be, good for me and the things that are around me, but I can be optimistic in the way I express myself, regardless of, it blatantly shows, you know, who I am, you know, sexually and in my identity. And yeah, so I will say that in more and more recent works, I'm a lot more like open to showing off a bit of myself in my art too. Yeah, it's so weird to talk about yourself.
No, I get that. I get it. But I think I love having conversations like this because like the like storytelling is such a powerful tool for us to process our experience. So, and then people who are hearing those stories, like the hope is that they can like take some things away and skip some of the hard steps that maybe we had to experience, and like um, find things that will help them along their way. So yeah, thank you for sharing. And I've always loved, so Denver, I don't know if a lot of people know, but Denver loves drawing like monkeys and apes, and like they're so cute and they have so much like emotion and like love in them. I mean, he draws all kinds of stuff, but yeah. But Moonfly, I wanted to hop on over to you because you mentioned you host Psychedelic Sundays, and last night um, we planned a psychedelic Sunday for um, June 19th at 12 p.m. PST. And I know you usually host them in the evenings, but this is a special edition. It's going to be um, Sunday Fun Day brunch with me in Denver. And I'm going to be in San Diego at his house.
You want to do it in my garage?
And we're gonna be we talked, and we're actually gonna be cooking like brunch while we're on the Twitter space. So
I'm excited too. I mean, like I usually am cooking during the Twitter space at some point, making pie or like it's Sunday. What else are you going to be doing, right?
yeah. How did you come up with that space? Like I know your art is very psychedelic. How does that relate to like your identity? Like how does that show up in your art and in these spaces?
Well, so I had a lot of experimentation, I can say, whenever I was a lot younger. I was kind of in this position where I was homeless for a while when I was a teenager. And the place I was living at, we basically were just selling drugs to live, and that's how our lifestyle was. And then I was very ignorant, and I didn't have a lot going for me. I didn't know what to do with my life. I knew that I was really good at some things, but through this, making a lot of mistakes and understanding, growing up, differences between things, like the psychedelic realm really did help me with my coming to of an artist and understanding who I am, because before I was using these hard drugs, and they were doing really terrible things for me. And at the time, I wasn't seeing it, and I was just going into it because it was curing whatever was happening, not having a home to live in, or like having to work full time. And as soon as I started going into the psychedelic realm, I realized that a lot of that was just kind of disappeared. And I wasn't addicted to it. I could walk away and not do it for like years and come back to it, no problem, versus these hard things that I was doing to my body. And when I was going through these things, I had a lot of experiences with other people, and I've seen a lot of fun stuff and a lot of bad things. And it always interests me to understand where someone comes from when they go into that realm, because that's really who they are if they do experience it. And even in real life, if you don't experience psychedelics, you experience something that's profound and life-changing that alters your brain chemistry in a psychedelic way. So that's really why I love talking to people about it, because I really honestly just wanted to know, because nobody really talks about it. And like, it's now starting to become a thing. A lot of celebrities are starting to pick up on it, and they're starting to say, hey, psychedelic therapy, this might actually be a thing. Like, we could use this to help each other. And I'm here in the forefront of it, being in Denver, Colorado. I signed for, decriminalization for mushrooms. I'm a real big advocate out here. So especially with us owning the head shop, it was really easy for us to get out there. And when we came into the Twitter space, we're like, why don't we just do it here too? And try to get people to talk about it. It's decentralized, there's no judgment. And it kind of integrated into our CNFT project, basically, where we had this project we were trying to project, hey, this is okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about addiction, and how we get through these things. And maybe we can grow together as a community.
That's beautiful. I love how like active that you are, and I love that you talk about like the medicine that psychedelics brought to you, like on your journey, because I don't know that a lot of people see psychedelics in this way, but um, psychedelics are powerful medicine. Like they help us like access parts of our self-conscious that we otherwise wouldn't be able to, or that we haven't had the opportunity to. They help us face like very difficult things that maybe we're trying to hide from ourselves, but we're required on psychedelics to like have a deep look at those and like really process those things. um, and it's deep. Like in my journey, psychedelics have been deep have provided deep healing in many ways. Yeah, and I love that it shows up in your art. I love your logo that you made for this month. I love that you're out there in the community, like um, pushing for this like education and this change, as people relate to psychedelics. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I really do like the whole vibe of everyone in here, honestly, because everyone has their own thing. Even with or without psychedelics, art is beautiful. So that's really what we're here for, is to spread love and try to get that art out there, and help each other out.
I've been kind
Yeah,
of experimenting with microdosing, and I will definitely say that like my mood and my optimism shows through a bit more clearly.
That's
yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been microdosing for the past year, and um, maybe like a few weeks off here or there if we're traveling, but almost every day consistently. And I can tell you, like, my energy is more consistent. Like um, like the depression, anxiety, all that, along with other practices that I do, like they don't show up so much. And when they do, they don't like overcome me. It's more of like a conversation with those emotions. And it really is helping me with like my creativity, like staying connected with like that creative energy inside of me. Yeah, it's pretty amazing and powerful stuff. And it's not like, oh, I'm like high and in another world every day. It's not enough to feel it, but like the physical chemical reactions are happening. And it's been super healing for me and my family for sure. Um, but yeah, Tyler, how are you? What story would you like to share with us, Mayor Tyler? I feel so fancy, like I know the mayor, guys.
I gotta thank Jenny for that. Jenny's the best. So I was thinking a lot about like the topic you were talking about, like how uh being like in the LGBT community like affects our art, or like how we go about things. Um and I've thought about it a lot before, but definitely like more since you mentioned it. And like I think the kind of conclusion that I came to is like, at least for myself, like realizing that I was gay, or like you really have to like look inside yourself and like understand yourself, and understand your emotions. And I think like the whole process of like figuring out figuring that out, I guess specifically, like you become like more in tune with your emotions. It's like I don't know, it could be like a stereotype, but like I know a lot of the gay friends that I have, or LGBT friends, any of them, they're usually like a lot more in touch with their emotions, a lot more like they can understand what they're feeling, I think, a bit more, or not more, but they have like a better understanding of their emotions, which I think is like really important with when creating art, because with art you're trying to put emotions onto a medium. Um, I think, if that makes sense. I do think I think about that a lot, because I feel like I'm definitely like way more in touch with my emotions by going through that process, and like not even like I was fortunate, I never had to like hide it or anything. Like as soon as I knew, but like there's still like that process there of like understanding it for yourself, and like it like unlocks, I think, stuff within you. It's like a opens up like a door to your emotions.
Yeah, I completely agree. Cause I remember there was a time where I like was not um connected to my creative side. I remember when I was a kid, I was super like, and I forgot some of this stuff, but like my stepmom every summer, I call her Mama Debbie. She's fucking amazing woman. She one summer she taught me how to make stained glass windows. Another summer she taught me how to embroider. She taught me all of these skills. But then there was a point in high school where like um, my her and my dad went through a messy divorce, and then like life and figuring out sexual, all of those things kind of like I kind of shrunk into myself and hid myself from the world, and I forgot that I was able to be creative. And I remember in high school and college telling people like, "Oh, I'm not artistic. I'm not a creative person." Like I would say it all the time. And and when I started going to counseling like later on, like she straight up told me, she was like, you need a creative outlet so you can process these emotions. And I was like, well, what does that mean? and so and then that's when I started writing, and that really helped me like start reconnecting with those parts of myself. But when I didn't have that creative outlet, like I was just full of anger and like full of like all these heavy emotions that I couldn't like find a way to get out. And then definitely finding reconnecting with those is, like you said, like it helps you be in touch with those emotions a lot more.
Um, I wanted to kind of add to what Tyler was saying when it comes to being in tune with like our emotions as artists. A little tidbit. I don't know if you are aware, or the viewers, that a handful of the most well-known like Renaissance artists that we know today were part of the LGBTQ community, whether or not they were out, or like there was like a name for it then. And also a lot of them were left-handed, so when it comes to your brain, they actually are very much in tune with the emotional side, of their processes, and their connections. And yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Oh, I want to share too. That's awesome. I didn't know it was left-handed this. Now I'm gonna have to look that up. Maybe I need to learn with my left hand now. So okay, that's a secret. Hey,
Yeah.
having your sexuality and your art and like having that to express is really important, and I do lips literally as a woman's lips. So like, but I really think that people, like, when I found out I was bisexual, I did the same thing. You find that outlet and you go for it, and it was really easy for me to express it that way, if for myself, if I couldn't talk about it. But I just found myself being attracted to everyone. That was my problem, and like, I had to know the difference. And I had to figure out the differences between guys' lips and girls' lips and stuff, because there are guys that have feminine lips and there's girls that have masculine lips. And it's just the way it works with our human figure. So like, I really loved figure drawing and like, expressing it in that way, because that was just one of the ways that we had and the options we had in school.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And also, like, man, just that being attracted to everyone thing that resonates. But yeah, so I've noticed lately, like, I've been like learning, like reconnecting with my body and like learning how different parts of it moves and like where different things are connected. And I find myself practicing more and more how to use the left side of my body, because I can tell, like, um, I definitely use the right side more, like whether it's from my legs to my glutes to my arms, whatever it is. And so as I'm like exploring this, I'm like over here, I'm like, okay, like flex your left glute so you can be a good twerker. Like do these different things with your left side, right? So you can like, I mean, I think I'm a good twerker, but I'm trying to get better. But but yeah, I mean, yeah, I love that you brought up that point, like that left side being connected to like that yin energy, that emotion and create and like inspiration and all of those yin energies. So it's really cool.
And not to really just kind of like lop into everybody into some sort of generalization, but I think that the fact that we in this community at young ages have to grapple with this sense of identity that our straight counterparts don't necessarily have to do, at least not as early on as we do, makes some really interesting um, like ways for us to let it out. And our outlets, we chose art, which I love, and it's made for some really interesting and beautiful things to be part of our world, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I when I look at like Tyler's art or Moonfly's art or your art, Deniver, with Sushi Bites, like none of these things would have been created without like our journeys that took us to get here. And that includes like um, all of it. That includes all the good stuff and all of the difficult things as well. Do any of y'all have any stories on moments in your life that you've like related to your sexuality that you feel like changed the way you interacted with your art or the way that you express your art? Like any big moments that kind of had an impact on that?
I I kind of feel like coming out and like just like putting myself like out into the world kind of helped me putting out art in a way, like at the same time, because like you're just putting yourself out there, like you're unapologetic about it. You're like, I'm LGBT, I'm gay, I'm bi, I'm whatever you are. And it's like super similar with art. You're like, this is my art, this is my robot, these are my lips, these are my sushi. Like you're just throwing it out there, unapologetically, and like I feel like I kind of learned that from coming out. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, having that courage to come out, like I remember it was such a big deal, right? It was like, oh, like I would be like all anxious about it. I'm like, okay, I have to tell these people. And I told my sister, I told my mom and my dad, and one of my uncles. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, I'm not gonna be like, if people ask, I'm gonna tell them, but I'm not like, I don't need to make announcements anymore. It's too stressful for me. And but like going through that process and like being able to show up for myself like that now allows me to like, that was practice for so many other things, like to be able to do a stream like this, or to um, be able to, I don't know, go after like a job, or like do presentations, or whatever the situation is. Like all of these things seem pretty easy compared to like what it felt like back then, when I was like, oh my God, am I going to be like an outcast? Am I going to not be loved? Am I not going to be all of these things? And then finally doing it and realizing like, oh, I love myself, and this feels good to just love myself. Like all the other things that I do feel so much easier. I mean, yeah.
It's interesting to hear you say, well, I mean, coming out is definitely stressful, can definitely be stressful, but it's also like, at least for me, was, I mean, healing is like too easy of a word, but like you get like this magical feeling, I think, like once you tell someone and like you're open about it. Um, and I know like when I was coming out, like thinking back on it, I feel like I was kind of chasing that feeling a bit, like just telling people, and like it was stressful at first, like stressful, like saying the words. Like I remember telling my parents, like I literally had like a lump in my throat. I couldn't like get the word out for some reason. But like once it's said and done, like you go back to your room, or you go wherever you're going, or you're just chilling there talking, and you just like think about it, and it is like super magical, which is definitely something I think I was chasing a bit for like the first couple of years coming out. But so it's just interesting hearing that you, would you say like the whole thing was stressful for you, or did you also have that?
No, I think it was like mostly stressful when it came to my family. And then like after I came out to like my parents, and then my uncle and my sisters, I was like this feels so good. It's that magical feeling you're saying, like to be able to say it out loud, and to be like, oh, I didn't like spontaneously combust or something. Like I'm still here and I'm good. And like, and the act of that, as I'm reflecting on it, it was really being able to say those words verbally was like reclaiming my power, and like drawing that power back to me that I was like so afraid to hold before. Yeah.
I think I had a big experience in art too, but mine was not actually for my family. It was for my school. It was a really bad situation, but it ended up being good. I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was actually dating my best friend, and I would let them spend the night at my house because, you know, they're my best friends and they can hang out and we're all girls. It's fine. But we decided to start drawing like anime and nude anime. It was our first time. We were like, let's do it. Let's just go for it. And we created this book and had like all these nude figures in it. So many different like pinup girls and stuff, and like guys, and we were probably like 14, 15 maybe at the time. And I remember one of them accidentally brought it to school, and one of the teachers got it. And it was like this huge deal, you know, and like the teacher brings it out, she shows people, and she's like, this is completely inappropriate, you know, what are you girls doing, you know, when no one's around and stuff. And you know, I felt really ashamed. I felt really ashamed. I was like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have been doing this, you know. But that was our exploration. We were like finding out all these things through drawing, and we loved anime, and like we just wanted to make sure that it was just for us, and it was an accident. But through that accident, people found out, you know, about the situation and in school, and it was very awkward at first. But then I could just be whoever I wanted to be after that. And like the teachers didn't have any expectations of me anymore. Like I dressed however I wanted at that point. You know, it just kind of opened this door like, hey, they don't care anymore. Like maybe I should do this now when I go to school. And like it wasn't really a part of rebellion. It was more of a part of becoming who I was. And like we all did it together, all three of us. And now we're all adults in different situations, but it was a great coming out for us being in that situation in school, even though it was kind of forced upon us, but it was a learning experience.
Yeah, it's like, even though it was unexpected, right? Like it allowed you to shed so much that no longer belonged to you, that probably never did belong to you, and you didn't have to carry it anymore.
Yeah, no.
It's beautiful.
I definitely can relate to the anime drawings and like having that person. I have a sketchbook like from like years ago that is really full of very inappropriate things that should not be seen by other eyes. Unfortunately, that was not outed. I still have it, and I'm never letting anyone see it.
And-
that's so awesome.
And that, I mean, Denver has like kind of a similar coming out story.
But I think I mean like I was outed not by my sketches but by that movie. I said it once in a space that when I was in high school and I ordered this movie online and sent it over to Craig, one of my best friend's house, because he lived down the street, and he came over to. It's a gay themed movie, and it's very obvious. It's called Shelter, and he brought it over because I was hiding. I was still in the closet to my family at the time, and I wanted to send it to his house so that my family wouldn't reach it or see it. But he came over, and we're having fun and shooting the shit and leave it on the counter, and that outed me out to my dad because he found it on the counter and confronted me about it in the same in that day. And what for me it wasn't more so like the chase of being able to stay it and come out. It was more the reflection of what I was doing in order to stay in the closet, and what I had done was thrown another friend under the bus and said it was their movie. And minutes after I had explained that to my dad just to deflect it away from me, I regretted it, and I didn't want to do that to my friend, and I wasn't liking who I was at that moment, so I turned around and told him the truth, and that felt even better, I think. And we're always coming out. There's this threshold when we come out. We don't stop coming out. But I think of it that way as a way of me running away and getting further away from the stupid shit I did.
It's like you turn on a faucet and like just this blue rainbow comes out, and then like you can't turn it off. And like, oh well, I guess it's just always everyone needs to know now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, does anybody else have any like stories or anything else they would like to share with the audience? Maybe some words of encouragement, or like, yeah, anyone listening out there, so that way they can like, if they're not at the point where they feel so safe to be able to come out or to express themselves or be creative at this point, but what are some words that we can share with them to kind of help them on their journey?
Well, you don't have to be scared. That's for sure. I know it's scary. I think that I was scared more than anything because like I let my nerves take the best of me. But you have to remember there's so many people like you. I mean, like you're unique for sure, but there are a lot of people out there like you, and that if you say something, maybe someone else feels the same way, and then that can lead to potentially being able to feel comfortable saying something about your sexuality. And a lot like me, where I had my girlfriends that I found out that they were bi, and they were also having these situations, and it was just because I was too scared to say anything to anyone else but to someone close to me and I trusted, and from there it kind of blossomed into me being more comfortable. So I think that if you just don't let the fear talk you out of making the right decision.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I guess I just want to say to everybody listening that art is powerful, and it's always going to be for you. And if you're figuring out your own identity, I think just pen and paper, letting it out is one of the best and most therapeutic ways to find out about yourself and to move through it. So I encourage you to draw, to create, and to do.
Yeah, definitely. Really like connecting, finding ways to connect with your emotions and with yourself. How about you, Tyler?
I think it's very important to like have like people around you, or the people around you are really important. I think to like how you go about life in general. I had somewhere I was going with that, but I kind of like lost it mid sentence.
Can I distract you and tell you that you have the most beautiful hair on the blockchain?
Oh my God, yes.
Exactly. You're the best.
Agreed.
I'm honored. So, someone was saying in the news the other day that he's like appreciate it while it lasts, and I was like, I'll cut it off and make a wig out of it. And then
Oh yeah, that's a nice picture.
yeah, I mean, I think it going back to thank you for the compliment, by the way. I do think like so the people you surround yourself with is like very like I'm very fortunate to have friends that like or everyone like in the community, everyone here, my real life friends, like everyone's just open about everything, like not even just like LGBT stuff, like open about like everything going on in their lives, and just having like people like that you can connect with, I think is just like important, whether you're straight, gay, like whatever your sexual orientation is, whatever you're like going through in life, just really having like those people around you that you can connect with, and I feel like that's like super vague, but I'm not sure how else to explain it. Like a real connection, not just like yeah.
No, that makes total sense. That's something that I feel with all of you, and I'm grateful to have all of you here on this call because, like, having these connections where you can feel comfortable to share your story in that moment, whatever it is, whether it's on a Twitter space and you feel supported with each other, whether that's on a panel like this, or like just on one-on-one calls or hangouts. Like I've been fortunate enough to like meet you, Tyler, in person, hang out with you, Denver. Like it's been I don't even know how many years now, 2008 to now. Do the math, and then like Moonfly. Like you're always supporting us, like on our Twitters, on Sushi Temple Twitter space. I see you all over the place, and when we talk, it just feels like we just know each other for so long, and it feels good, and it's cool that to have these connections in real life on a regular basis, like me and Denver have, and it feels good to have them online because I avoided the online space for so long because it didn't feel real to me. I didn't think that I could have genuine connection here, but but I found it, and it's great. Like I'm grateful for Cardano for giving me that space with people. So like I think if I wanted like some advice I would give people is like to find time to be with yourself I know that for some of us, it feels scary to be alone. Like we always want to be surround ourselves with people. Like that's a big part of my story, and um, really like finding those times in the day, whether it's just 5 minutes or like an hour a week, like whatever that looks like for you. Like, don't be afraid to be with yourself. Like you're beautiful as you are, and when you can see that and when you can accept that for yourself, everything just falls into place and as it needs to be. So yeah, finding more time for ourselves is always a nice little treasure. But I want to thank all of you for joining me today on this panel. It was really lovely. I'm so glad I got to hear some of your stories. I'm glad that the people watching, whether live or via the recording, I hope you guys are getting as much out of this as I am. Um, yeah. And then if you guys have any last words, feel free to say them. Yeah.
Sushi bites are still minted.
Sushi bite. Okay.
Check out the dream shop. It'll be all month.
Okay, I guess I'll just pull them up real quick so people can see. Sushi bites are still minting, y'all. uh, that's funny. Thank you, Tyler. Like you're like always giving it to us. So this is our website now. Thanks to Denver. Happy Pride Month. Do you want to tell them a little bit about this little section?
Oh yeah, it's just to remind everybody that it's Pride Month, and from our clan to yours, happy Pride Month. So find your clan. You know, we're out here.
Yeah, and if y'all need a refresher, you just on how to buy some mint some sushi bites, you just go to sushibite.io. Let me just put that in the chat. Little tutorial here. I don't know if y'all have minted any, just in case. You click on buy, it'll take you here, and then you just click on buy. Oh, first, yeah, and click on buy. It'll give you all the instructions, follow them, we're good. And then since it's Pride Month, you can look up sushis. So we're gonna look up the Pride Clan real quick just so y'all could see them. They're so cute, y'all. Look at
Yeah,
that.
it's like
Look
a parade.
it's a But yeah, sushi bites
There's
are
more. They're not out yet, but they're there.
oh man. And then yeah, Moonfly. If you have any last words, go for it.
Mwah!
Wow, I love that.
I love you guys.
We love you too. Well, y'all have a great rest of your day. We're gonna, I'm gonna like transition. I'm gonna put a little schedule up so I can run to the restroom real quick. But then we're gonna hop into a healing conversation with Draco. It is called Regenesis, Dancing with the Divine Within, and we'll get that started here in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Now, everyone, have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
that directly.
Okay.
All right. Let me take off this overlay. He's on here. Hello, everyone. I'm back. And we are about to start our healing conversations with Draco on Regenesis, Dancing with the Divine Within. And I'm going to bring him up here. Show on screen. Hello, Draco. How are you?
Hi there. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again as well. And lovely shirt, by the way. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to those who are tuning in.
Of course, I'd love to. But first, before I go ahead and introduce myself, I just want to say thank you so much for bringing me on board to discuss Regenesis, which is dancing with the divine within. I am Draco G. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. As of recent, I moved out to Austin, Texas. It has been quite a journey settling into the energies of Texas, especially being from Las Vegas, Nevada, where we really are weird out there in Las Vegas more than in Austin, Texas. And what I used to do back home is I used to be a guardian for Madre Ayahuasca. I also held cacao ceremonies with dragon energy that was incorporated into it, as well as other mystical beings that I like to incorporate as well, such as Fae, the mermaids, unicorns, elves, all of the devas, and whatnot. One thing that I really enjoyed doing the most as part of that was helping individuals to fully express themselves. And when I mean being fully expressive of themselves, I was referring to like the divine inner child of oneself. That was a very beautiful thing to witness in any of the events that I partook in, that I helped facilitate, or I was a guardian for, such as with Madre Ayahuasca. So that was a really beautiful thing to be able to get involved with. Not only that, I also did offer one-on-one shamanic Reiki healing sessions. Above all, I am hypnotherapy certified, and I'm also past life regression certified. Clearly, at this point, obviously, I would be Reiki master certified as well, amongst other things. But all in all, I just look at everything as just energy, and I just look to thrive in it. I'm here in Austin. I haven't found my tribe, which is okay. I'm still looking for a little bit more hold within that. But until then, I am a cosmetology educator for Aveda Arts Institute.
Nice. Thank you for that, for introducing yourself. I love hearing you speak about all the things you do, because like you're one of the few like other shamanic healers that I've met in person. And so like I've always kind of like looked up to you, and I've loved like watching your journey and seeing how you interact with people and energy. And so thank you for like always being you and showing up for yourself and others. It's amazing. And I have to also say, like, I attended one of your first cacao ceremonies, and that was so special. I took my niece we took our niece with us, and it was super healing and beautiful experience for her too. And I just want to thank you for that. Like it was really special.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed you all when you participated in the first Dragon Cacao dance ceremony. It was beautiful. So it was a perfect synergistic event.
Apollo says he needs to inspect what's going on with the computer over here. He's like,
oh, he's adorable.
He just wants attention. He's like, it's the weekend. Why are you not giving me attention right now? But I'm really excited for our talk today because we actually had a few calls leading up to it to prepare for this talk. We
Mhm.
had a little test run, which was really cool because, um, I'm new to streaming and to podcasting and recording all this stuff, and usually, the way I do things is like these are the vibes I'm going for, and then I show up and we do it. So it was nice to like have a little preparation and like really get to the ideas and the thoughts that we want to share today. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I did definitely enjoy the little quick little run, right? Because we had a generalized idea of what it was that we wanted to talk about, right? When you first approached me, the first thing that kept coming to mind, I was like, oh, I really want to dive into the masculine and the feminine energy aspects of oneself and looking at it from an LGBT perspective, but at the same time looking at it from a spiritual perspective and how those two have programmed us in such a way that has caused much more division than it has allowed for unison or oneness to occur. So once we started like to dive deeper and deeper into it, and then we did our run through, which it's not like we had it scripted, right? We were just like flowing with it and just allowed it to just organically unfold. And I was like, okay, I'm like, dang, if that was the if that was our live stream right there, like
Yeah,
solid,
solid.
solid.
Yeah.
Um, so it's going to be interesting to this time have actual an audience participate and communicate with us and interact with us as well during this live stream, which adds a whole other layer of synergistic energy to one.
Yeah, exactly. And so, anyone who's listening right now, one, please feel free to share out this stream, like share it with your friends, family, let them know, like, hey, we're having some healing conversations over here. Um, and then, two, like, if you hear anything that resonates with you, if you have any comments or questions, like, please feel free to throw them in the chat and we will get to them. Yeah, well, and yeah, we love the participation, and this conversation is going to be a mix of stories along with some more of the ideas and theory and um, those ideas that Draco are very familiar with. Like he has a really good way of like putting words to like the feelings I'm feeling. Like I'm very much like just want to express my emotions, and sometimes I don't know how with words. And then, like, I love sharing stories. And then Draco, like, I feel like you bring a lot of like the concepts. You're good at, yeah, conveying those concepts to people. So I'm really excited for this. I think like we can get started by kind of talking about what is the masculine and feminine, like, and what does divine masculine and divine feminine mean, right? Because I remember um, it was 2 years ago. I had never heard the word up until 2 years ago. The term divine masculine, like it, and my whole experience in life, I only knew about masculine energy as being toxic because that's what you hear in the
Mhm.
media. That's what I like. My my parents were like in abusive relationships, and like all the like people that I looked up to, I didn't never heard divine before. And so when I heard the term divine masculine, I really started like I just wanted to be open to feeling what that felt like. Oh, we lost Draco. He'll be back momentarily. I just wanted to be open to feeling, what is the divine masculine, and how does it show up in the world around us? Like what does divine masculinity mean? And I really started understanding that by going for walks before the sun rose. And like at night, I would see the stars and the moon. And then by the time I got home, I would see the sunrise. And like seeing that dance between the sun and the moon in the skies, that's how I was able to feel like, oh, what does divine masculine and feminine means? And of course, that didn't like put words to it, but I was able to witness it and feel it within myself. But yeah, Draco, how would you define like divine masculine and divine feminine?
Before we get into how I define it, he
Yes.
did kind of a quick run through of his experience with the divine masculine and feminine and aspects. And if I recall correctly, how he had described like looking at nature and how it has that beautiful dance between the moon being the feminine and the sun being the masculine energy, and how they're dancing in the sky, like one following after each other. And that took me, it was a very interesting concept, and not idea, but insight to absorb, because I was like, wow, that is quite interesting, because all of nature is like that. If you just pay attention to it, it really shows you that it's a unison dance between the two. And if I recall correctly, you also mentioned the yin and the yang, the yin and yang, which in itself, if you really look at it, it's dancing. If you look at it, because it's, you know, it's spinning around and it has a bit of each piece within itself. But if you look at it from a whole perspective, it's one whole cohesive aspect as one. So I found that to be very interesting and very insightful when you shared that on our primary, a quick little rerun. As for me, what divine masculine or feminine may be is, well, I don't look at them as two separate aspects. I look at them as one aspect of ourselves. However, when we look at it from a spiritual perspective, we talk about the divine feminine, we talk about the divine masculine as being either Ida or Pingala. So Ida in Eastern concepts would be the divine feminine, and Pingala will be the divine masculine. And in the center aspect of it, we have the Shushana, which would be essentially the inner child or that inner oneness. And these two intertwine with themselves, in other words, dance with themselves, and connecting into the 7 vital energy centers known as chakras. And in that aspect, it is intertwining with that inner Shushana that we have in our center, middle point of ourselves. So when somebody asks me, how do I perceive these energies to be? I tell them like, well, they're just one. Like, I don't look at them as a separation of myself, but rather a full expression of myself. Because if I begin to tell myself or begin to or express that I am being too feminine or too masculine, then I am no longer in that oneness anymore. I have now veered off from that center point and either steered off to the Ida or over to the Pingala. So when I hear other individuals convey that to me, they're trying to balance themselves out and tap more into the feminine aspects of themselves. And I tell them like, so what you're telling me is that you aren't resonating with your inner child anymore. And so I bring light to them in that moment. I tell them like, this is where you are actually faulting. You're faulting because you are trying to either weigh yourself on the left or on the right side of yourself, when in reality, you should just be center pointed. However, in sociology, we look at sociological gender norms and roles which are ascribed as which are considered to play as normal roles. For example, feminine, females would be ascribed to wearing dresses, masculine will be ascribed to wearing pants, men to business work, women to accounting, and so forth, right? So then we begin to, in sociological norms, we begin to ascribe these mental programming from a very young age, and throughout all the time we look at it, right? And so that programming gets deeply ingrained in us at a very young age, which it's very unfortunate that it carries through for the rest of our upbringing all the way up to adulthood, and then for us being in the LGBT community, um, it can actually cause a lot more trauma in the sense that now you have another layer that is being put on top of you while you're trying to be fully expressive of yourself, aka being your inner child, because the child knows no difference between a toy being for a girl or for a boy. It just is, right? We just are. That's all we know how to do. We just know how to be fully expressive. So when we look at the rainbow, it is just a full expression of everything. The colors seamlessly blend into themselves, one into the other. You can't see like here's red, here's orange, here's purple, right? They just blend right into themselves seamlessly. So I guess it's a pretty big explanation of the way I
Yeah.
perceive the divine feminine and the divine masculine. But more than anything is I just see it as a divine child.
Yeah, and I love that way that I love your viewpoint on this because that is it's it's absolutely right. Like the divine masculine and the divine feminine live within every single one of us, no matter what our outward expression is. And when we can, and when we do not recognize that, when we do not honor that, when we do not like allow that dance to happen, that's when things become toxic, right? Like in my experience, um, like I one like there was examples of like domestic violence and my upbringing, and so that was very difficult for me to connect to masculine energy because I was afraid of it. I thought that's what it was. I thought it was like controlling. I thought that it was overbearing. I thought that it was um, almost like a prison, to be honest, and I was afraid of it. um, and like I'm and when it comes to the divine feminine, I felt like that was always so easy for me to connect to because I mean, one, I'm a Pisces, so I naturally just live up in that realm, right? Of like
Uh,
dreams and like all of these like super magical things, and I thought like I didn't know that that was feminine. I just thought that was like the feminine part of me. I just thought it was like who I was, you know. And it wasn't until the past couple of years once I started exploring like more of what divine masculine meant and that, oh, this is inside of me, like this creativity, this healing, like all of these other things that it come with the divine masculine, like that's inside of me too. And like I started like spending more time with that, and that dance that I would watch in the sky, I would try to feel that inside of me, and I could feel like the two moving together and dancing. And that's really when I feel like most grounded, when I feel most creative, when I feel most in my power is when I allow that dance to happen and when I honor that dance.
I love that. Yeah, definitely allowing yourself to just organically be. You're in
Yeah.
that flow. So I
Yeah.
like how you allow yourself to be in that natural state of mind, the innate natural state of mind of yourself, so that you can fully intuit and dance with yourself, which is so important. Like you have to be so self-aware to be able to even notice something so subtle, but yet so macrocosmic.
No, yeah, it's like when when people say like all those things you see in the cosmos, they're happening down here, they're happening inside of us at the same time. Um, and it's absolutely true. And there are these little subtle shifts when we come to like accept more of our full beings, just little subtle shifts of energy that we can feel that have huge impacts on like the way we interact with the world around us.
I agree 100%. Yeah, and for me, my upbringing was quite interesting. Um, I'm pretty sure just about everybody, more than likely in the LGBT community was, and just to clarify, I don't know any of the other additional aspects to the LGBT that was added because I am so like old school in that aspect. And I don't mean in any way to exclude anybody. The way I honestly perceive the community is more so as like just a full expression of the rainbow. If we could just use the rainbow as a full expression, that would be much easier for me.
No, I get it.
However, without digressing, my upbringing involved a lot of getting bullied a lot, to the point where I just didn't really know how to like express myself anymore. So I ended up being kind of a lone wolf. Didn't really have any friends growing up. And even if some of them did stick around, I didn't really know how to perceive them as friendships. Only because in my mind as a child, I felt like eventually the relationship would just end. I guess at such a young age, it was more like people just came and went as they pleased. And being fully expressive during that time would instantly label you as feminine, right? Especially being a boy in the 90s in Las Vegas, Nevada, in Section 8 living.
I was right there with you. I'm like, we might have been neighbors.
I know, right?
We're like talking about your upbringing. I'm like, whoa, this sounds very familiar.
But ultimately, like, it helped. I shouldn't say it fully helped. It helped to an extent where it allowed my brain to see everything from a broader perspective rather than being solely tied into that small little piece of the entire picture. So when I look back now as an adult, looking back at my youth, I'm like, wow, like it's been quite a journey trying to get to where I am now, where I'm allowing myself finally to be much more fully expressive and expressing myself at my highest potential. And so when I mean expressing myself at my highest potential, I'm referring to the aspect of being unapologetically, authentically me. That's what I'm referring to. Because when you allow yourself to just be who you want to be, there isn't any label, any type of slur, whether it's towards the LGBT community or to you directly, that's going to hinder you, or that's going to affect you in any way, shape, or form, because you're allowing yourself to be strong-held in who you are as an individual. You've already identified as who you are. You don't need anybody else to put a label on you as to who you are or what you should be. You've already ascribed that for yourself. And if you allow yourself to just remove the labels off of yourself that society keeps trying to pin on you, then you have nothing to worry about. You're allowing yourself to be fully expressive. So when I look at the LGBT community, which I understand for sociological aspects that to a certain degree, some individuals need some type of quote unquote label to identify with. If that's just a baseline for you, don't allow it to be your whole world. That is just a baseline for you. It's a baseline for you to excel beyond that. Don't stay so glued to that aspect, to that idea of that's all you are, because that is not who you are. You are much more than that.
Yeah.
So I invite anybody who's listening now or that will listen later on a rerun, is to sit with yourself with that. Like, who is it that you want to be tomorrow, in 10 years, 30 years?
Yeah.
It takes a lot to sit with yourself with that.
Yeah.
And when you sit with yourself with that, I don't mean like just, you can do it in meditation, you can sit down and begin writing.
Draco G joined.
Did I get dropped? Oh, there I am. Hi. In any way or fashion that may be for you, because it's going to be different for everybody. But if you're allowing yourself to sit with yourself and be fully your own beloved has been one of the biggest things that I've had to learn for myself moving here to Austin. Because I was born and raised in Las Vegas, so I was there for 31 years, and then I picked up and left in December, and here I am. So now I'm like really honing in on how I really want to express myself. It started, yes, in Las Vegas, but now here, being in a completely different environment, the energies of this space is different. And I'm like, wow, I am really now fully becoming much more expressive of who I want to be and
Yeah.
the way I want to perceive myself.
Yeah.
So it's an open invitation for everybody, just be fully expressive, because when you allow yourself to be fully expressive to your highest potential, everything else around you will begin to express itself at its highest potential. And I don't just mean you and I as humans, I mean everything. All life around us will begin to express itself at its highest potential. If you don't express yourself at your highest potential, the other life force that's around you can't fully express itself, because then we are only seeing our reality within those eyes.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And it really, this conversation really brings me back to a time like in my experience as a gay man, like how interacting with the LGBT community, trying to find, I'm like, wait, there's so many labels. I don't even know what they mean. First of all, like, what do these words mean? Do they apply to me? And like, if they don't apply to me, then what's wrong with me that they don't apply? Like, there was there was just a time, a long time, where I was like, where do I fit into this space? Who, like, if I don't have these labels, does that mean like I'm not loved, or does that mean I am not worthy? Does it, like, all of these, starting doubting myself so much, like, are you top, are you verse, are you mask, are you a bear, are you an otter, are you all these animals, all these like all these things? And I'm like, it was so confusing. And then like, who do you talk to about these things? Um like if I don't understand it, like, I doubt like some of my closest friends are going to understand it, because it's a different experience that I'm having. But yeah, but when I would like finally being able to be like, I like what I like. It changes sometimes. Sometimes I do like that. Sometimes I don't. And I don't have to explain myself to anybody. I just have to show up for myself. And like, um, I want to be able to express myself in whatever way that looks like. Some days I'm feeling like super butch, like super mask, whatever that means. And like, it comes out. And other days I'm like, feeling like super like feminine, and like I want to put on a bodysuit and like go out and like do my thing, whatever that means that day. And being able to like flow in and out of these different states and these different energies is so liberating and so freeing. Like, it really is like being able to connect with that inner child, that has like such limitless potential and so much joy, and like doesn't have to worry about any of these labels or these thoughts, or like they just have to be, they just get to be. And that truly is like when we were kids, or in my experience, it's like, oh, I don't want to, like, I want to be a grown up, I want to go do what I want to be. And then like when you're an adult, like you meet so many people who are trying to get back to that state of connecting with their inner child, and it's like, damn, we had the answer all along.
We so did, and we were steered away by our parents or adults around us that they knew no better, right? Because they were programmed too.
Yep.
But now that we are much more aware of what's going on, and we have individuals like you and I and others around the world that are open and sharing their experience, how we need to go back. Like,
Yeah.
we need to go back to reclaim our inner child and then move forward with that,
Yeah.
with that
And then,
same energy, but yet still like an adult.
yeah, exactly. Like being an adult while being connected to that inner child, and like seeing that there is a space in everywhere for that inner child. Like think of like these huge companies, they invest in people and their healing, because when people are connected to their inner child, then they like are super creative and innovative and like get to connect with like all of that super fun stuff, or like um going on retreats or to music festivals when you
Oh
get
my
to
God,
just like
yes.
just fully express yourself. Like there's like creating more spaces, because we're fortunate enough to have
Experiences.
that experience and we have that awareness, and we get to create spaces like that for people, whether that's like at the dinner table or if it's planning events or streams or whatever it is. And yeah,
We're just meant to enjoy life.
yeah,
That's really what we're meant to do. Is just be, again, a child just being able to look into a closet and just pull whatever the heck they want out of it. Just like, I don't know if anybody else did, like went into their mama's closet and pulled whatever was in there and just put it on when you were a kid. Or painted your nails. I painted my nails when I was a little kid. I remember quite a few things that I ended up doing that I had to hide from doing what I was doing, but it was fun doing it though,
yeah, it was,
right?
yeah.
We don't see any harm in it. We're just being kids.
Yeah, I remember. I think my sister's on this stream. Her, if anyone's out there looking, her username is Tiastina. But she used to like. I used to be painting her toenails all the time because, you know, for me it was fun to do that for her, and two, like, I just had the eye, and I would stay in the lines, you know, like, like get it done for her. But like but something always kept me from crossing the line of painting my own nails. Like there was always something there that was like, no, you can do this for your sisters, but like you can't do this for yourself. And
Mm,
now I'm like, you know, sometimes I go get my nails done and I have like claws on, and I'm like, yes, like this feels so great and powerful, and like being able to like not having those barriers anymore. I mean, sometimes they may show up. I'm not saying they never will ever again, but now I know how to look at them and process them and be like, you know, thank you for showing up, but I don't need this. Like, you're blocking me from my full authentic self.
mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
We're forever children. In the eyes of God, we're children. We're just barely learning how to crawl.
We are.
We're here trying to run and we can barely even do that. So it's crawling.
Oh man.
And
Um,
here on earth, we're somebody's child still.
yeah,
So
definitely. And so for people who are listening and who maybe are like just
recycling our video.
yeah, or recycling, like watching. Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
Stina. Let me throw this up on stream. Best toenail painter ever. Thank you, Stina. um, but yeah, for people who maybe are just starting to tune into that dance within them with the divine masculine and feminine, like what are some practices that you do, or some practices that you could recommend for people to really tune into that and like start exploring that a bit more?
Yeah. Man, there's a bunch. There's a bunch. There
Yeah.
are. One of the biggest, well, one of the most recent ones was dancing. And when I refer to dancing, and I'm referring to dancing with regards to manifesting, like we talk about manifesting, we talk about like creating, but then I was like, you can manifest through dancing because it's all energy. So if you are in a dancing, if you're flowing into a dance or whatever the case might be, you can manifest and dance who you want to become as well, right? How you want to express yourself, how you're expressing yourself in the way you're moving or flowing or dancing or expressing yourself. So that was one of like the most recent insights that I had back in April. It was the end of April. I was like, holy dang. And I remember it so vividly because here comes the little inner child coming out. Because I started laughing because I started to see fairies. And I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. Because fairies only come out when you're like very playful and you're very like, cheerful and you're dancing, you're joyous, you have that inner child that came out to express itself. That's when they come out. They're not going to come out if you're like in your rational thinking ass mind. They're not coming out. They're going to come out when you are being a true inner child and you're playing with music, you're dancing, you're just being fully cheerful and joyous and be fully who you should be. And so I was just sitting in like complete awe and I just started giggling. I was like, I see you little ones. I see you. And so I just started dancing with them and I could feel the energy was so palpable. The synergistic energy that was like flowing through me. It was fluid. Like the water that roams within my body was so fluid and the way I moved and the elements of the air like came through as well. And then I felt that other layer of myself being expressed. And then the fire, which would be the passion, came through as well. So it was just like a complete synergistic dance of the divine just through me. So it was quite an experience, that April experience. That was just one of them. There's tons of ways that you can express yourself.
Yeah, I do love that you brought up dance because I think that's something that is like a lot of people love dancing. They hear music and like their foot starts tapping or like certain songs really get people going, you know. And like this past weekend, David and I went to Lightning in a Bottle at Lake Buena Vista, like over by Bakersfield. And like I go to music festivals, I dance, I love music, but this experience was very different for me because over the past year I've been really focusing on like connecting with my body and like really loving it and like learning how it moves and how it's connected. And I was out there dancing this time and I could feel that flow. I could feel that dance between masculine and feminine. It wasn't like I remember music festivals for the past, like I've been going since 2011, and like it would be take so much energy to like be shaking my ass and like just being out there and like bouncing around. But this time when I was out there dancing, it was so flowy and smooth and like re-energizing. So it wasn't like making me tired. It was like giving me more energy and like really, yeah, it was really beautiful and really powerful experience. Oh yeah, Denver. Yes, Denver was there with us too. We had so much fun. But yeah, like dance is very powerful. Like I find myself dancing more often. Like I find myself taking a few moments to dance in the shower or when I'm getting dressed or
Don't fall in
um,
the shower.
that's exactly what David said. I'm like, I'm not like acting wild in the shower, but you know, like little moves, you know. Um, and like I can see how that can be connected to that manifestation or that connection to that inner child.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a total invitation for everybody to dive in to their inner knowing, to their
Yeah.
inner child, to that inner oneness of self, to everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And another thing that I learned how to do to help being more fully expressive was, as I had mentioned before, was being your own beloved was a very big thing that played for me being out here in Austin. And not only being my own beloved, but being my own best friend.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Austin, I don't know. I hardly know anybody. The only people I know are my coworkers, my roommate, and one my first Austin ex, and one spiritual sister that moved out here from San Diego. Only four people, still only on one hand. And because of that, I had to learn how to be with myself more. I had to learn how to be comfortable with myself, how to enjoy my me time. So important. It's definitely okay to be surrounded by individuals. However, you need to be okay with being with yourself, being able to keep yourself entertained. Just like if you were a kid. And I learned this also from my baby niece because she could honestly just get up in the morning and just start playing with herself, start painting, start playing with clay, start creating stuff. And I'm just like watching her. I'm like, dang, I'm like, I want to be like you.
Yeah.
And at that time she was 5. She's 6 now. She's still young, but she's still like that. And I remember I came up to her and I was like, baby Tulip, I'm like, I admire you so much. I'm like, you can just get up, come over here to your play place and just start creating stuff and start painting or coloring or creating something. I'm like, I hope you continue to do this for yourself. It's so important. She's a kid. I'm sure, I hope and I pray that it stays with her forever, because that is the way we should really be. Truly, truly being able to be comfortable with yourself. Because if you become your own best beloved and your own best friend, dang, you are going to be like the best lover for whoever you end up with. Or if
Yeah.
you're already with somebody, you've done the work for yourself. And when you find or hang out with your friends, you're going to be the best friend to hang out with because you already know how to express yourself within those aspects.
Yeah. 100%. I'm like, I could totally sell like my journey through learning how to be more in that dance, more in that center, more fully. Um, I can totally see how that's made me a better lover. And then maybe David will tell y'all one day, but but like I can see that like loving myself, loving my body, learning to express myself, learning to express myself unapologetically and like fully, like that
Mm,
leads into everything that I do, like whether it's work, whether that's with lovers, whether that's with art, whether that's my love of running, like that just keeps getting better and better the more that I like fully love myself, like all all aspects, just everything just becomes easier and more efficient and more joyful. Yeah.
mm. When you mentioned like in love with yourself, I thought of this song. I can't remember her name, the woman that sings it, but I like playing it because it says, "I'm in love with love, and I'm in love with me, and love is in love with me."
Oh, that's beautiful.
But the song is so like romantic. It's like it like romanticizes you, and you're just like in this whole movement with this song about like love and like love loving you and you loving yourself. I'm like, dang, I'm like, I like this. Like I can totally groove to it.
Yeah.
It satiates my bodies in every way. Um, and so that's what that reminded me of when you said that you love yourself, which is
I,
so important as well.
I love that. What a beautiful, yeah. You'll have to play that
I'll have
song for
to,
me. I'm gonna be
yeah,
in I'll be in Austin Wednesday to Monday, so you'll have to play that song for me.
I'll definitely will. Am I gonna have to put on a show for you with it too?
Yes, full expression.
Full expression. All right. Full ticket ride.
Um,
I wanted to share with the audience of ways of how they can, a quick, easy, like step by step of how they can go about being their authentic self and being fully expressive. And this template, so to speak, can be used for any and all areas of life. It doesn't have to be just specifically to this. It's a generalized template that you can use it however you want. So it is like a step. It's like 5 steps, really. Quick little 5 steps. So step number 1 is, why is this or whatever it is that you're working on important to you? And this can be revolved around your boundaries of life. It can be in love, it can be in relationships, it can be your home, spiritual practices, friends, family, career, financial aspects, etc., etc. 7, does it bring forth my best self? If yes, you go to step 3. Why and how and in what way does it bring forth my best self? And if it still does, then you go to step number 4. What are the steps to take to get to your point number 1? If in any area of those there's a no, then you're going to have to go back to step number 1. It means it's not in alignment. You can't continue down the ladder. So also keeping in mind that doing what you do will attract what you seek. So what that means is, if you are, let's say, in love relationships, you are looking for somebody that is fully in love with doing yoga and that is committed, and you want them to be committed to doing yoga every day, but yet you only do it like once a day. Well, you're probably only going to attract that individual that probably only does it once a day, more than likely, or probably the individual doesn't even do yoga or hasn't even started, right? So you need to take the steps and the actions to attract that same energy, or to be able to exude that energy outward as well. Some more aspects to take into consideration aside from this template is your body is talking to you on a daily basis, but there are 2 times during the day when your body is going to talk to you the most and have the strongest dialogue, and it's going to be when you wake up or when you're going to sleep. So those are the 2 best times to really fully tune into yourself. More than likely, recommend to do it in the morning, primarily because if you're trying to do it at nighttime, the only thing you can think about is probably going to sleep. Your rational mind is going to tap in and it's going to say, I'm going to sleep, right? So in the mornings, you want to create that dialogue with yourself. What is your body telling you? You're tuning in. Be a good listener at this point. You're only listening, so don't interject what your body is telling you, whether it's a feeling, it's a thought, it's an emotion, it's an idea, or a physical feeling. Just let it be and let it come through. So step 1, no rationalizing what it is that you are receiving during that dialogue. Step number 2, no emotional overlay. What that means is, don't begin to talk yourself out of what it is that you are feeling, sensing, intuiting, whatever the case might have you. So, for example, you're feeling sad or depressed, and you instantly tell yourself you shouldn't be depressed. You should be happy and grateful for the things that you have in your life right now. Like, you have everything right now. You're doing an emotional overlay and you are forcing yourself to suppress and oppress your emotions and your feelings. You wouldn't do that to a friend, so don't do it for yourself. Number 3, no instinctual behavior. That means do not quickly jump on your phone to text someone, get on TikTok, on social media, get on whatever your emails, or just jump out of bed because you don't want to listen to your body. Because that in itself means that you are walking away from the friend that is talking to you. In this case, it is you that you are walking away from. Step number 4, they say this is the most important part. And this is the part where you reward yourself. So how are you going to reward yourself for being able to sit down with yourself and have this internal dialogue with yourself? The reward can be something simple. My sister back home in Las Vegas, a spiritual sister, she's the one that shared these aspects with me. And she said that what she does for her little reward is that she gives herself like a little chocolate. I don't feel like I need a reward. My reward is that I was able to sit down with myself and listen and tune in. And from that moment, I'm able to go into a state of prayer or meditation or whatever morning ritual I have already incorporated into my life. That is my reward for me personally. And I know a few others that's the reward, that they were able to do that. That's for them is more than enough because they completed something. That's like the first initial task. And that's a big task for the morning, to be able to sit with yourself. So I invite you to take that template and these little rituals that you can incorporate into your life because they are beneficial. It's how I ended up in Austin. I kid you not. I sat down with myself with this template and I wrote down what was important to me. Yeah. I messed up a few times because what I wanted originally wasn't in alignment with me, and it was throwing me off in ways that it wasn't working. So I had to go back to this template and rewrite what was important to me. I was putting love first.
Yeah.
And I realized that wasn't working. So I dumped that and I put financial stability and career stability. And so then Austin came through and then jobs started to align. And that's how I ended up here. So when you're in alignment, it comes out. It'll come through.
Yeah, I love that. Like really having that reflection, tuning into ourselves, to our energy, to our bodies. It's so powerful because all the answers are there. Everything is there. And in the society we live in, we're not taught to tune into that. We're taught to seek those answers elsewhere. But we have them, and we just need to trust ourselves. And it really helps to have that reflection time. And like you said, really write down what's important to you, like know what your values are. And when you know what those values, and this is an exercise that like is ongoing, right? Like you assess and reassess, they're changing.
Oh my God.
Like I'm like due for like a big like reflection session actually on like what are my values. And then when you know them, when you know where you're going and you're ready, like when you go out into the world and make decisions and like choices, and when you're actioning on things and you know what your values are, then it's easy to make choices that are in alignment. But if we don't know what they are, then it's like, well, I'll just pick one, right? And then see how it goes. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But if we know our values, then it's like, okay, all these choices I'm making are aligned with those values and they're taking me to where I need to go.
100%. And I share this with my students at Aveda because they're all relatively young, and I know how important it is to be at such a young age and not have any sense of direction. And I tell them, like, it is important to know where you are so you know where you're going. If you don't know where you are, you have no idea how you're going to get from A to B at all. And I also tell them, I'm like, have your goal in your mind and your mind on your goal, and you will always succeed. But it is important to have a template like this so you can go step by step, because it's like in a chronological order and it's structured. So you can't fail yourself if you do it in that format. And I tell them, like, visualize a target in the far distance. If you have your arrow and you're pulling it, and you have no aim for where your target is, it's never going to hit the target, right? But if you know, like, here's my arrow, this is my intention, that's where I want it to go, then you're never going to miss. You're always going to hit your target. You'll always succeed in it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I share with them all the time. It's like, you need to know where you're going, and you need to reevaluate this constantly, not just one time and hope that that's it and that's for the best. Because you're always changing, you're always growing, you're always evolving, you're interacting with individuals, you're getting new ideas poured into you. So you need to make sure that you are always staying true to yourself and that you're not absorbing other people's energy at the same time, that now you're not aligned with your own identity anymore. So now you've lost a part of your identity in the process of. So if you do this, at least you're tuning in with that internal dialogue with yourself on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always know where you are.
Yeah.
Every single time. It's more work when it's your first time doing this, because you're still trying to figure out who you are and where you want to go. That beginning part, if this hasn't been a part of your ritual, can be a little daunting at first. But that's the beauty about it, is that once you get into the habit of it, it just unfolds naturally. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything that you start putting energy towards there's a little learning curve at the beginning, and then eventually it's just second nature. Your body and your mind and your spirit just start doing it, and it just flows easier and easier each time. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes this can work. It's work, right? Doing work it's for ourselves, but it's so rewarding and it feels so good.
Oh, and it shows. My goodness, you
It
will
does.
glow and you will gleam. People will notice that you're
And they
doing.
will tell you, people will tell you every time they see you, they're like, you're glowing. You're like, and it's because you're doing the work, and you're like living in more alignment, and people can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Feel it. They see it.
100%.
Well, Draco, do you have any last words that you would like to share with everyone?
Just be your fullest, authentic, expressive self.
Yeah.
Be compassionate to yourself. Have self-love, self-compassion. Don't be so hard on yourself, and just keep forth. That's all I can really say.
Yes. I love that. And to add on to that, if you are in a space where you don't feel safe to do that all the time, find the little spaces where you do feel safe, whether it's in your room, and then your home, and then your backyard. And the more you do it, the easier it gets to do that outside of your little home. And you can take that out into more and more spaces the more you practice it. And like Draco said, being kind and compassionate to yourself will help in so many ways, and it really will.
I agree.
Well, everyone, I want to first, Draco, thank you so much for this.
So well.
I'm happy that we got to talk so much the past few weeks, and I get to see your face, and that I get to see you next week. And I'm grateful for this conversation, and I hope that the people watching, whether live or via recording, I hope you guys and gals, and however you identify, receive the medicine that you need to receive at this time. Thank you for supporting and showing up for yourselves.
Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you that listened and tuned in, to all of you that will tune in on any recycling of the video and rewatching and watching it later. Yeah. Looking
Yeah.
forward to the next stream.
Yes. When I see you next week, we'll talk about some dates to get you on my show, Dream in Process. And then yeah, we'll keep these conversations going because this is only one little part of that
Yeah.
regenesis, you know. Just one.
Yeah.
There's so many parts to it. So we'll cover more of these topics, and yeah, we hope you guys will join us. And but
Definitely.
all right. Well, I hope you have a great day, Draco.
Enjoy
And
your weekend. See you Wednesday or anytime between Wednesday and Sunday.
yes, for sure. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Hello, everyone who's still tuned in or watching the recording. Hello. um, I, I need to give a huge shout out to Fence Maker. If you're in the Cardano NFT community, y'all know who he is. He really pulled together the Dream Shop for me and for Shook Boys and for all of you who are interested in checking out this art. I'm gonna revisit the website again, let you guys see it. The Dream Shop is live, y'all. So if you come to the Shook, we'll just start at home. You're shookboys.com. You can look, there's something happening. Click to watch. A dream set. You click on here, you go straight to the stream, but you already know that if you're watching this. We'll also get this, we'll get the recording of this up on the website so you can watch it here later as well. You can see all the people who contributed today, all the groups and people. And then you can go shopping at the Dream Shop. You buy some NFTs. The Dream Shop is now live. Oh, hold on a second. I think I didn't hit publish. Let me publish real quick. Let's get a refresh. There we go. So the Dream Shop, all of these pieces were created by artists who had really good intentions of healing through art. The proceeds from the Dream Shop, everything in the Dream Shop is 22 ADA. It will be randomly minted. 25% of the proceeds go to the artist. 25% will go to the Shook Foundation, which if you would like to learn more, it's hyperlinked here. We have some exciting news. Just really quick. The Shook Foundation, our goal is to bring like art, healing, and blockchain technology to communities, all communities. And we got our 501c3 status. Yeah, we're officially a nonprofit recognized by the federal government. So next steps are going to be to put together, a little, I see it as like a council of elders that kind of help guide and like share knowledge and like, so we can really shape how we deliver this stuff to people. But yeah, so 25% will be going to Shook Foundation, and then 50% will go to Shook Boys to help us continue hosting events. We love events. We love what we do, and we want to do more of it. So a huge thank you to all the artists who contributed art. So you can mint anywhere between 1 and 5 pieces at a time. So you would just send that corresponding amount of ADA to this address here. Be sure you're not using an exchange wallet. You need to use a Cardano wallet like CC Wallet, Nami, Adelaide, Daedalus, Yoroi, Eternal, whatever you prefer. And yeah, and so there's 5 pieces that were created. This we'll go through them again for those of you just joining. This piece was created by Denver called Lantern Spirits. Like, I just love it. I feel like I'm at a festival and like in the future with these holograms. Great job, Denver. And his intention for this piece was to illuminate the contributions and talents of queer artists through collaboration and celebration. And then we have this piece called it's called Pieces of Me. The artist is Dick from Boca Vision, and his intention was I went into the piece thinking of the times I felt decoupled from my true self. From the outside looking in, public me and private me could have been 2 completely different people. And like this really resonates because I've felt that before. And yeah, and these colors just really grab my attention. Then we have this piece by Leaf Jerky called Perseverance. I just love this little heart. It's got a little band-aid bucket, like collecting all its energy and blood or whatever is inside of this little jelly heart. And he's like, just got a smile on his face. And Leaf Jerky's intention was, life will always hit harder. It's important to know yourself, how to take care of yourself, how to fix yourself, and how to move forward. Never give up on yourself. Then we have this piece. Oh, like this one, just the colors, just really so beautiful. But this one is by Mark O, also a member of Boca Vision. This piece is a representation of how freeing it can be to let go of all the negative stigma surrounding the right to express your love however you want to, whomever you want, no matter what. What is love? And then Tabab, also from Boca Vision. It says mint 25. I'll update that. These are all unlimited mint, so don't worry. You'll get a chance to get all of them if you like. And a little secret: if you do send, the 110 ADA for the 5, then you'll get 1 of each. But if you're just minting like 1-on-1, then it's a little more random. But yeah, so this piece is called Endless Dissociation. And then the intention, a lot of the paranoia I feel when I'm having a bad trip is about my life choices and my partners. The struggle between having an open sexuality or just closing it off because it isn't quote unquote acceptable. I was trying to capture like the weird lifeless floaty feeling you get when you disassociate during a quote unquote a bad trip. Yeah, all of these pieces, like just reading the intentions, I just feel energy all over my body. Yeah, they're beautiful, and I can see the love and intention and healing that people put into them. So thanks to all of these artists for contributing. And yeah, the Dream Shop will be open until June 30th, so there's plenty of time. Go tell your friends, tell your family, tell your whoever about these pieces and how they make you feel and what they mean to you. But with that, I think I am all talked out and need a break for a minute. And lucky for us, one of our besties, Josh, who is also known as Boshi, recorded a set for us. He traveled to Vegas from Reno a few weeks ago. We had a really beautiful evening where our friends just played music and we ate really good food. We just spent time together, and oh damn, I feel like I'm gonna cry thinking about it. It was so beautiful. But yeah, he recorded this set for us, and I hope you all enjoy it. and I hope you can dance a little bit, express yourselves wherever you are. Yeah, let's get to it.
too much, it's feeling too much for you. Then all my love is gonna dance with someone that shows love, not you. Just dance. If all my love has got you feeling too much, it's feeling too much for you. Then all my love is gonna dance with someone that shows love, not you. Just dance. If all my love has got you feeling too much, it's feeling too much for you, then all my love is gonna dance with someone that shows love, not you.
people out with my violence. Get closer, feel my heart beating. I'm an architect of your death. I've got the power to change your whole cycle. If I see your name on my list, it's not personal, it's just business. A perfectionist with no witness. I've got a knife in detail, I use it. There's a million man that don't lose it. I've got my list and I'm stalking. This time my target is you. You might see me driving or walking. You'd love to know what I do. I might get up close and be friendly, or keep my distance and aim. There's a million ways I can do this, as long as a contract is paid. You might see me driving or walking, or keep my distance and aim. There's a million ways I can do this, as long as a contract is paid. I'm taking aim with precision, an assassin moving in silence, taking people out with my violence. Get closer, feel my heart beating. I'm an architect of your death. I've got the power to change your whole cycle. If I see your name on my list, it's not personal, it's just business. A perfectionist with no witness. I've got an eye for detail, I use it. There's a million man that don't lose it. I've got my list and I'm stalking. This time my target is you. You might see me driving or walking. You'd love to know what I do.
Life is sin, is a club addiction, and a good best friend. Can we take these shots? I won't do them alone. Can we go all night, till the lights come on, 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 and this life is sin.
Techno and tequila. Techno and tequila. Techno and tequila. I can't even see ya. Techno and techno and techno and techno and techno and tequila. I really wanna feel ya. On that feel, on that. On that feel, techno and tequila. I can't even see ya. On that feel, on that feel, techno and tequila. I really wanna feel ya. On that feel, on that feel, techno and tequila. I can't even see ya. Techno and tequila. I really wanna feel ya. Techno and tequila. I can't even see ya. You nowhere, no. Don't want none of your time, and no. I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. No. étais, aime-moi, prends-moi dans tes bras et je n'ai plus personne. Et ne laisse pas ton odeur imprégner mes draps et si tu m'abandonnes, je suis pas celle que tu crois, aucun cabron ne m'a touché. À part toi, caballero, non, personne ne m'a touché. La cocaïne a pris ma famille. Je suis une clandestine à Miami. La cocaïne a pris ma famille. Je suis une clandestine à Miami. La cocaïne. Tu étais, aime-moi, prends-moi dans tes bras, et je n'ai plus personne. Et ne laisse pas ton odeur imprégner mes bras, et si tu m'abandonnes, je suis pas celle que tu crois, aucun cabron ne m'a touché. À part toi, caballero, personne ne m'a touché. Cocaïne a pris ma famille.
First I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Oh, now go, walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with goodbye? You think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay
Yes. um, Thank you so much, Boshi Boy, for that beautiful set to celebrate this Pride Dream set that we're having today. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the Dream Shop, Deniver, Dick, Leaf Jerky, Marco, Tabab. Thank you all. Like, the pieces that you contributed are really beautiful, and I can feel the intention that you put into them. Thank you so much. And then I want to thank everyone who joined us for the panel, Moonfly, Dennifer, and Tyler with Spaces. Thank you all. Like, that was really special. I love getting to know each of you a bit more and sharing our stories with people. That, yeah, it was a great way to, like, this has been a great start to Pride Month. And then, of course, thank you, Draco, for that beautiful conversation called Regenesis, Dancing with the Divine Within. Like, that was really beautiful. And I think it seemed like the people who were listening received the medicine that they needed today. So now, everybody, whether you're watching live or tuning in via recording, I love you all. I hope that you have a great, fabulous Pride Month and a great day or a nap, whatever you're doing. Like, enjoy it. And don't forget to go over to the Dream Shop. Like, and look at these things. Look at this art. Beautiful. So just beautiful, and it feels good. So yeah, everyone have a great day. Love y'all.